Hi there, I'm Kim, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. A polar vortex descends on the US, sending 55 million people into below zero temperatures. Meanwhile, heat for Mariah Carey, who's taking on a gig in Saudi. We'll tell you how you can pay to crash the best kind of wedding, an Indian wedding. And Instagrammers letting their Team Megan or Team Kate flags fly are turning nasty, and Buckingham Palace needs help. A record-breaking cold snap is moving in on the US. In the Midwest, it's expected to be colder than Antarctica. It sounds bone-chilling for those having to suffer through it, and more than that, it has the potential to be deadly. American President Donald Trump has given his thoughts, tweeting that we need global warming. What now? Here's Ezra.
Bone-chilling cold is sweeping across the US.
Real temperatures, when combined with wind chill, may very well fall to extraordinarily dangerous levels.
Schools are shut, businesses are closed, flights are cancelled, and it's going to get worse.
While the snow may be ending, the cold is just starting.
States like North Dakota, Minnesota and Illinois know winter. But this time, it's expected to be colder than Antarctica.
Even 10 minutes of exposure may very well be harmful.
Even life-threatening, as temperatures could go as low as -46 degrees. It's caused by a polar vortex. That's freezing air from the North Pole sweeping across the Midwest. President Trump says he has a solution.
In the beautiful Midwest, wind chill temperatures are reaching -60 degrees, the coldest ever recorded. In coming days, expected to get even colder. People can't last outside even for minutes. What the hell is going on with global warming? I think he meant global warming. Please come back fast, we need you.
Scientists say it's global warming that's causing the freeze. And the exact opposite is happening in the southern hemisphere.
The record-breaking heatwave, which crippled parts of Victoria and South Australia, is now hitting Sydney, with temperatures in some parts to soar into the 40s.
A massive heatwave is taking over Australia and New Zealand. And everything there is melting away. So all this extreme weather talk is far from over.
Meanwhile, this is how Canadians deal with the wild weather. An accident on the icy roads caused a 75-car pile-up near Montreal. There was no road rage here. Instead, to pass the time, they turned the highway into a hockey rink for a friendly game. The video has been watched and shared millions of times, always making the best of things, those Canadians. Indian weddings are a lavish, colourful affair, from the music to the jewellery to the fanfare. It's a celebration where Indian families spend big and usually pull out all the stops. Now, how would you feel if we told you it's possible to experience all of that by paying cash to crash an Indian wedding? Neha Punia explains.
For Nikki Delavia, this is a moment she can now tick off her bucket list. She's dancing in a barat, which is an Indian groom's wedding procession. Only she's not related to nor friends with anyone here. Nikki's paid $250 to crash this wedding.
So I saw it advertised on a current affairs show. The TV was just on and I happened to see it, and I've always been interested in coming to an Indian wedding but didn't have any Indian friends that were getting married, so I've always remembered it, and when I was planning to come to India, I remembered and emailed and tried to get it set up.
To make this happen, Nikki and her friend got in touch with the Australia-based startup Join My Wedding. It helps locals open up their weddings to foreigners for a price and gives tourists a chance to sample a quintessentially Indian experience. For the bride and groom, it was also a chance to break with tradition and do things differently.
So somehow I told my mother, and she was, kind of not liking it initially, but yeah, I made her convinced that this is gonna be, a new thing, and they will get to see the Indian cultures and probably, it will be a good event for us also.
The couple's family says they were initially skeptical about having strangers attend such an important event.
First, I wondered what they would be like, but it's worked out well. Everyone's liked it. They thought it was a different concept.
Nikki says the henna, the rich Indian food, the dancing, and the chance to don a 9-yard sari have helped her understand Indian culture better.
We don't have the same sort of ceremonies which have meaning and ritual behind them. We have very, I suppose, quite traditional type of weddings, yeah.
Weddings in India can cost from anything between $15,000 all the way up to millions of dollars. It's usually down to the bride's family to pay, but it would take a large amount of foreign guests paying $250 each to make a real difference to the funding of these events. For the bride and groom, this is a cultural exchange and one they'd like to see the other side of.
I would love to see an Australian wedding or a, other nationality wedding. I've never seen. I think I've only seen the Punjabi wedding. So I would love to see their side also.
While Sonu may have to wait to snag an invite to an Australian wedding, she says Nikki's attendance to hers has been more than welcome.
Okay, let's have a look now at some other things that caught our eye on social media. They make up 2% of the world's population and have been a source of inspiration for artists for decades. And now redheads are being celebrated with an exhibition in Paris. Curators say redheads have been portrayed in various ways over the years, from violent to seductive and everything in between. But now it's time to celebrate their role as muses and subjects in art over the decades. If you're in Paris, check it out. It's sure to be fiery. Celebs, they're just like us, kind of. British actor Richard E. Grant, you might know him from Downton Abbey. Well, back when he was just 14, he sent a letter to Barbara Streisand. He said he was a huge fan and offered Streisand a holiday at his family home in Swaziland to escape the pressures of fame. Fast forward 47 years, still a big fan, he tracked down her home, took a selfie outside and posted it and his teenage letter to his Twitter. That adorable tweet finally caught the attention of Barbara Streisand, who thanked him for the letter and says she loved his latest film. Sounds like the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Even royals get trolled, and even royals need help dealing with it. The Duchesses of Sussex and Cambridge, also known as Kate and Meghan, have been faced with increasingly vitriolic hate speech online, apparently fueled by reports that the two women are feuding. The British press is now urging social media users to tone down their criticism after reports Buckingham Palace has gone to Instagram and Twitter asking for their help to monitor online comments. Aides reportedly spend hours each week moderating comments and removing racist and sexist comments. Singer Mariah Carey is coming under fire for her upcoming show in Saudi Arabia. Online, people are criticising her decision to perform in the secretive emirate, and given its human rights record and jailing of women's rights activists. Take a look at this. No surprise then, the tickets are apparently only $80. Okay, let's go around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Wednesday. Embattled Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has issued a direct warning to US President Donald Trump, telling him to keep his hands off Venezuela. Maduro made the rare move of speaking in English to throw a shot at Trump, laying blame for the instability and violence in the country directly at the American president's feet.
Y le digamos a Donald Trump con Venezuela, no te metas. Hand off Venezuela. Donald Trump, hands off Venezuela.
For all his claims of innocence, it seems that Mexican drug lord El Chapo is struggling to back it up with actual evidence. Joaquin Guzman is on trial facing more than a dozen criminal counts, including drug trafficking and conspiring to murder his rivals. But after the prosecution called 56 witnesses, taking up 11 weeks of the jury's time, El Chapo's lawyer came back with just one witness, with his testimony lasting a measly half hour. The jury will hear closing arguments on Wednesday. The youngest follower of cult leader Charles Manson wants out of prison and will seek parole for a third time. Leslie Van Houten was 19 when she murdered Leno Bianca and his wife Rosemary in Los Angeles. She had joined Manson's cult, living at an abandoned movie ranch with him, where he told his followers there would be a race war. Manson and others then killed 5 people at one home in LA, while Van Houten and others killed LeBianca and his wife at a different address. A state panel says Van Houten, who is now 69 years old, has been a model inmate, earning a master's degree in counselling while inside. The internet is awash with well wishes for Empire star Jussie Smollett. The 35-year-old was attacked on Tuesday by 2 suspects who yelled out racist and homophobic slurs, that's according to police. He then had a chemical substance poured on him and a rope put around his neck. Stars and fans alike have been posting their support online for the actor. It's reported Smollett has now been discharged from hospital. Malaysia has been stripped of its hosting rights for the upcoming 2019 World Para Swimming Champs after Malaysia said it would not allow Israeli athletes to compete. The event is a qualifier for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics and was seen by Malaysia as its only way of condemning Israel's treatment of Palestinians.
For Malaysia, they are coming from a criminal country and we cannot accept them. He comes from a country which does not obey international laws. You find that this country just does what it likes, including building settlements in other people's country and excluding the people of that country from entering their settlement.
If hosting an international event is more important than safeguarding the interests of our Palestinian brothers and sisters who have been mutilated times after times again, if that is more important, that means we have lost our moral conscience and moral compass.
Now to animals doing stuff. Australian animals are just weird and terrifying. One man caught the moment this huge 3.5-metre saltwater crocodile, that's the deadly kind, landed in front of his car on the Bruce Highway. Floods in the northern state of Queensland have caused rivers to swell and crocs to end up in unlikely places that they wouldn't normally be exploring. Rightly so, the driver was not game to get out of his car. And in the south of Australia, where there's an extreme heat wave, this wallaby knows how to stay cool. It surprised onlookers by showing off some strokes before hopping out of the water to dry off. He might soon be back in as the heat wave continues into February. Oh my word, he's very cute though. Oof. Well, that's all from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints, hopefully not too many of those, and suggestions at Kim Vanel. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter and YouTube, and you can follow me on Instagram. Follow, subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.